Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Matchmaker Hotline here on Edge Radio. Now, I am not blonde and beautiful, nor am I quite as spunky as our normal host, but I have with me two wonderful people, and we'll be... Oh, you were going to say
you're getting blonde. You're getting blonde.
I've got to dye this.
So, yeah, I was going to say, who's your hairdresser?
So this is Eric and Dr. Jen that are up, and we're just going to do a quick little conversation, and we're waiting for our wonderful host. She'll be in momentarily. But you know what? I am always itching to get on the mic with the likes of Dr. Jennifer. So I have to ask a couple of quick questions before Amber comes in and starts to. So you are, for those who do not know, a very well accomplished and insightful sex therapist.
Yes. Although I do have to correct you, legally speaking, I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
But you play one on TV.
No.
Oh, no. That's an old commercial. Does she play one, Eric? What do you think?
I think she might. She's playing one now.
Oh, gosh. If she plays doctor, I want film. I want footage. That's what okay, wait a minute. Wait. That went off. That went off the rails like way too quick just now.
Hey, at least nobody asked to be the patient. Just saying.
Well, I was going to volunteer you. I thought it'd be, because someone's got to take the video.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
To her boyfriend, we are just kidding.
No, this
is on-air personality.
Go sit somewhere, boyfriend. What are we talking about?
Hey. My God. We're off the rails.
We are already off the rails. That's right. It's not even like Friday or anything. All right, so let me just ask you, Jen, because this is something that a lot of men wonder, right?
Yeah.
It's from a sexual standpoint, a woman, when she's interested in a guy, what would you consider some of the signals that the guy should look like? Like, I want to know if I'm going to sleep with you tonight. I'm out at dinner right now.
It's hard to tell whether it's going to be tonight, but to know that she's interested, the lean in. You got to look for the lean in. The touch, like.
Ooh, so she touches you.
Yeah.
That's
smiling
not just
at
being
you,
friendly?
smiling at you a lot. That's a really good question, because a lot of people do actually get that mixed up. Well, she was nice to me. She must have been flirting. Right. That's fair. There's, most people aren't going to touch your thigh. If she touches your thigh, that's probably a good way of recognizing, like, that's a little bit more than just being nice.
Oh, I've missed a bunch of signals.
Oh my God!
And touching,
I
would say, and touching hands. Touching hands is a little bit more personal. But if it's like the back, that's probably a little bit less personal, a little bit more friendly.
So that's fascinating, because you're in a space that I love, which is body language, and a lot of the engagement. So one of the things that I try to do, and I'm not giving away the player guidelines here, right? But I try to establish touch relatively quickly in the encounter. If there's a way that I can say something or touch you, is that problematic? Does a woman find that offensive if you?
That's really, because there is a generational gap where I think some of like the millennials nowadays, if a gentleman touches her, like, automatically, oh my God,
really?
Get
From
off
millennials?
of me. Yeah, I think so. Like, there is, but then like my generation has kind of that I'm 38 years old, where some of that
You're in
could
your
also,
mid-20s right
yeah,
now.
mid-20s. Yeah, my dad would be like, oh man, I had her really old then. Sorry, Daddy. But it's hard to tell, because you look at things like what's gone on with like Biden and all, kind of his touching and things like that, and I look at some of that as he's an older generation, and that was just a lot of times what men they touched. They touched the back. They moved you over by touching your hip and moving you over. But I think the younger generation these days automatically, don't touch me. And wants to karate. I've been watching Cobra Kai.
So can you?
Kid.
Wow, I was going to say, I felt that little violent vibe just now. So wait, no, all right. So can you suggestively hypnotize somebody
I mean, I can because I've got great eyes.
Yes, you do. You have amazing, beautiful eyes, by the way. Just saying. All right, wait. It's like, what just happened?
It worked. It worked. All you
All
had
right.
to do is suggest.
That's right. So I read somewhere. I read a lot, right? So I read somewhere that you can actually hypnotize somebody by creating an anchoring. Like you might say, "Oh, you are so beautiful," and you might anchor something, like squeeze their elbow or something. Then you do it another couple of times, and you're anchoring them to a thought that could eventually lead to something.
I wouldn't call that hypnosis, but sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But here's something I do. Now this is weird on a date, but I do it all the time if someone's willing to play with me a little bit. So I feel energy. Well, get your mind, for crying out loud. You're the professional here. No snickering allowed. No, all right, but no, but seriously. So I love to hold someone's hands for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Now, even if it's a complete stranger, if I'm able to get in physical contact with them, I feel them energetically.
Yeah.
Now, I can feel things like happiness, sadness, anger, frustration, sexuality, eroticism.
Yeah.
And there are times when I'm feeling like a really serious sexual energy there.
Yeah.
Right. So once that's established and I'm feeling that, now I let go of their hands. Right. Now the question is, are they going to feel like I have just assailed them in some way because I felt that energy, or are they feeling like, oh my God, this guy's totally feeling my energy, so he's awesome?
It depends on the person. That's hard, because there are more shy, quiet people, or shy people who don't necessarily feel that right away. For example, if you were to immediately just be like, hey, and hold my hand for the first 2 minutes the first time I met you, like right away, I'd probably be like, this guy's, I don't know how I feel. But until after a little bit of while, but like once somebody's warmed up and you kind of recognize like, oh, I think they would be comfortable with that. Yeah. And then the trick would be like, as far as like, are they still interested if they lean in or come back for a second or third or fourth hand?
Well, I generally get a second or third. Okay. Well, can I see your palms for a second? Ooh. So now I'm going to show you some ninja stuff here. Now you see that right there? Uh-huh. That little meaty part of the palm is called the Venus vulvus. Mm-hmm. So I almost always like to look at a woman's Venus vulvus. I'm just saying.
So many dirty things. It's too early. Why? What does that say to you?
So holistically speaking, when you have a very fleshy Venus vulvus, present company excluded. Let me see your Venus vulvus.
I have two of them.
Wow, this guy's a beast. He's a sexual animal, this man. I didn't know that.
You're not supposed to tell everybody.
Mine's not very meaty.
Well, you know what that tells me? What that tells me is that, like, if I were looking at your Venus vulvus, I would say that yes, there's a sex drive there. Yeah. But what my assessment would be that it needs to be cultivated a little bit more. You get, there's a certain chemistry that pushes it further than it is.
I would say that. So I'm a bit of a demi/sapiosexual. So that would.
I'm totally sapiosexual too. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, so am I. So we're all there.
Never been able to jocks unless they have intelligence.
So I have a question. So let's say you're out with a woman and you get hands on your thighs and she's touching all over you, and then you reach over and you put your hand on her shoulder and what do you do with that? Because I've had some experiences where I think, okay, let's reciprocate, but on the milder side, and then you see this like pullback.
She might like to be in control a little bit.
Yeah, that's what okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So back to the Venus vulvus. I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it a large Venus vulvus that creates the sexual animalistic energy, or is it the animalistic sexual energy that creates a large Venus? It does. Oh yeah.
So you can have a flat Venus vulvus, and then you get with a master lover
with a tiger
that stimulates you intellectually and emotionally, and I'll behave. And then and then all of a sudden, by the way, Amber's enjoying this a little too much. She is now in the office.
I think she's over there doing this. Oh my God! I'm not sure whether to pull the plug or laugh about this. That reminds me. I just have to cut in real quick and tell you one of the best lines I ever heard in college.
Okay.
This girl walks up to me and she made really good eye contact, which for me is important.
Yeah.
On a friendship, a platonic, on a intimate, on a sexual, romantic, I like eye contact. I want to see all the way down into their soul.
Yeah.
I want to know who I'm talking to. And she walks up and she just makes this long, gazing eye contact. And I won't use the word that she used.
Oh,
but I
can.
I don't know if I can use that. It's the F word.
Sure.
She says, you know what? Like a tiger and winks. She was, oh my God. Okay. So anyway, since we're talking about tigers and lions and Venus vulpuses, you just brought me back to
I
college.
was going to say, you opened up a can of worms.
I'm
My
afraid I
Chinese sign is a water tiger.
Or was it a can of tigers?
So now I have a whole other line. What?
Uh-oh. The tiger's out of the bag.
Oh my gosh. I wore the right shirt today.
Oh, yes, you did. That's right. Especially you guys.
Oh, you wore a leopard shirt. Yeah,
did.
they're
Well,
like
that-
tigers, I guess.
That
Still
appeals
animals.
to our primal need to hunt. So what
Yeah.
happens when an alpha male meets an alpha female?
Ooh, probably depending on how they can communicate about things in the bedroom, it could be a really good match or it could be an explosive one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They could be like the power dynamic like Jay-Z and Beyonce, but behind closed doors, they either negotiate taking turns or somebody's more of the alpha behind closed doors.
So I've had that experience a few times. You take turns, or you say, this is your category, and this is my category, and this is our category to try to be both alpha. And you just pick,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've done that worked fairly well.
Well, so like
better than
household
everything
stuff,
else, yeah.
absolutely. As far as like relationship, non-sexual, if you're living together anyway, being able to negotiate who's better at what and recognizing where your strengths lie.
I think that's
If somebody's better with finances, well, they might head up the finances. But if somebody's better with the social calendar, then they would head up the social calendar kind of thing.
Well, I like to think that in the bedroom, when an alpha male meets an alpha female, the female becomes beta.
You would like to think that.
It's always been my
It doesn't always.
Not always the way that it goes.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'd like to think that's the case. But I will say that I think that there is sort of a naturalness to that when there's trust.
Yeah.
Because to me, if there's not trust and if there's not a profound reciprocal communication, then there's a vulnerability there,
Sure.
and there could be some trauma that might have existed before. So I think being sensitive to all of that is really important, and that takes a smart alpha male, hopefully.
Yes. And
So,
communication. Always back to communication.
always.
Every time.
Well, gosh. Now, see, at some point in time, Dr. Jen, I'm going to have to invite you on Ninja Talks, and this is where it's mano a mano, and we go deep. But I've enjoyed this slight cameo guest hosting that I've done.
I might have to get a ninja.
If y'all could hear the look on Amber's face, I wish our listeners could hear the look on Amber's face now.
That's because Dr. Jen is giving this incredible vibe, and I'm just responding to that.
I'll have to bring my size with me.
Oh well, okay.
You're what?
What? You don't have a pair of size?
You mean like a tape measure? SIZE?
No.
Or SIDES like restaurant good?
SAI like the ninja.
Oh,
weapon.
size sticks.
Yeah.
I do have multiple size sticks.
Yeah,
Like
wow.
a whole tub of them.
Wow.
A lot of them.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if anything's phallic in that conversation, but I'll have to leave it there, folks. Gosh, well, it's been a joy hanging out with you all. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be joined by the millionaire matchmaker herself, Miss Amber Neal is in the house. She is on board, and then you guys can get back to normal because I've just railroaded this.
If you look at that, if you see the look on her face, I'm not so sure she's on board right now. I think she's in fear. I think she just went into fear. We need a break. Here, hypnotize her, get her out of fear, get her up on stage.
Not a problem. She's a tough cookie. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. You're listening to the Edge Radio Network. This is the Matchmaker Hotline. We will be back in just a moment.
And we're back with Athletes United Experience on Edge Radio, and where truth still matters. As a side note, viewers, the Art and Jazz Fest voter registration drive and as we talked about this earlier, will be held right here at the Midtown Bar and Grill, September 26th, beginning at 4 p.m. That is the Art Jazz Fest voter registration drive. So come on out, prepare to complete your civic duty, and vote your consciousness. Okay, as we broke, we're talking to Dr. Crystal Mark here, and she had
Well, hello out there. Hey, my name is Dwayne Hines with Real Talk Real Estate, along with my sidekick,
Damian Hughes.
Hey, and we are the double D's of real estate. So look, if you're out there and you've been interested in owning a home, but you've been getting run around and you don't know how the process goes, hey, dial the number on the bottom of your screen. Give us a call. Get some real talk, real solutions on all your real estate concerns. We are the double D's of real estate.
Be sure to catch us every Wednesday on Edge Radio at 11:30 for Real Talk Real Estate. D. Hines, Damian Hughes, the Double D's.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Hey guys, welcome back into the official Matchmaker Hotline with the Girl Millionaire Matchmaker. Jen and Eric today. We apparently had a fun show for the first 15 minutes.
It was amazing.
Wow, Oscar is one of the Houston's top 10 most eligible bachelors. He wonders why I'm always talking about that, because man, if energy could go through a TV, half the ladies at home are wanting to sign up right now. If you do want to meet Oscar, let me know. We'll bring you back on the Matchmaker Hotline on our live matchmaking day, and we will see if there's some chemistry. But ladies, you got to be a sapiosexual, and you like to have it go deep, because that is his mind, and he wants to have it deep. You heard him say it himself. Okay.
He said it several times.
Yep.
It's confirmed.
Several.
He
Deep.
even confirmed it. Are we going to need a babysitter next time we start the show without you?
I think so, for real. You know, speaking of going deep, one of the articles we're going to talk about today with sex therapist Jen is men fake orgasms too. Now, I know you ladies probably don't want to hear that, and that probably goes against your basic blueprint to feel wanted, but men faking orgasms. Jen, as sex therapist, you actually get complaints of this in
I
your
never
practice?
have gotten a complaint
Wow.
of that. I've had people that have suspected, but they've never had it confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I've never had anybody come in with my male partners faking an orgasm.
As much as I want to know, I'm not going to ask, how in the world would they do that?
So I guess that answered my question I was going to ask you. Have you ever done that? You ever
I
faked
guess
it?
not.
You ever faked it?
No.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to fake. Either A, like if you're wearing a condom, I mean, a lot of guys just go to the restroom and take the condom off.
Okay.
You don't get to see. Or if he ejaculates inside of him or her, depending on his partner, I mean, you don't always get run off.
Run off.
That's what I'm.
Flood.
That's what I'm
that
gonna
sounds like
call
Hurricane
it
Harvey.
too.
Flood.
Well,
Okay. Well, all right. I guess that would work. Why?
you know, this article is super interesting. Y'all know I love to go over articles. This one is in Psychology Today if you want to follow along. Also, you can go to Edge Radio Network on Facebook and YouTube and watch us live. Okay, so the article says that research suggests that men fake orgasms in 1 out of 4 sexual encounters.
Whoa.
Wow. What kind of research?
I can't even imagine.
Like, is this like a
feels-
clinical study?
Why are you doing that?
How do you,
I mean,
how do you get-
there's other ways to be
how do you-
affectionate if you have to fake it.
like, how do you get the research done? That's
Hey.
okay.
Yeah.
So it just says that women can and do fake orgasms, which we do. I mean, that's the truth. And we've even talked about this before on the show, how it is, you know, internal orgasms are not as easy for women as
Yes.
external. And with men, you guys are lucky, y'all can just do whatever. But but anyway, but it's saying basically that Harry and Sally are having an argument about whether men can tell if women fake an orgasm. Sally puts on a vivid performance as she fakes an orgasm in front of the restaurant's patrons to demonstrate how realistic a fake orgasm can be.
I'll have what she's having.
And yeah, exactly. I'll have what she's having. That's it. Won't we all have what she's having? I mean, I think it all starts the day off better, right? Do you ever get people arguing over like morning sex or nighttime sex?
Oh, yeah.
It's such different energy to me.
Yeah, so statistically, it's kind of, I will say in session, like it's one of God's funny jokes. Statistically, men are more aroused in the morning and it goes down throughout the day, and women are less aroused in the morning and it goes up throughout the day. So afternoon delights are, you know, sometimes a couple's best friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is that statistical difference as well where
I can see that because guys are like, I mean, I think girls are more self-conscious, like of the way we look and just like, it's probably more mental. Like we don't feel as sexy in the morning.
Well, statistically, women need more sex too.
Yes.
I beg to differ.
She's speaking for all of us. Yes.
I
Statistically,
so
women
beg to
need more
differ.
sleep.
No, we need more sex.
We need
Oh,
more
it was a
sex
Freudian
too. It was a
slip.
Freudian slip.
Especially in our 40s. Yes, we do.
We need more sleep for our sex drive. So if it's in the morning, like we take a little bit longer to wake up statistically. Men often wake up with morning wood.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gets a little bit of they're already a little bit primed and ready to go when they wake up. So.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that is a sign. Like if you are waking up infrequently with morning erections, you should probably see your doctor because that can be a sign of prostate health.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I always ask when men come in, you know, how often are you waking up with erections?
So
if you don't
if you
wake up with it,
if you have it every morning, that's a prostate issue.
No, if you're waking up infrequently, very rarely.
Very rarely do you get
Yeah.
Okay.
If you are waking up, you know, 3 or 4 times a week, or even 2 or 3 is still generally pretty healthy with an erection, then you're probably fine prostate wise. But if as it declines, your prostate checked out.
Interesting. Yeah, prostate health is super important, you guys. You definitely want to get that checked out. Now the question is why would women do this? The reasons are many and varied. While some physically or hypersensitive women can achieve orgasm at the very light stimulation or touch, others have much harder time climaxing. And as Jen has said on a previous show, some women have never had an orgasm.
Yep. 10% of American women won't have one. 10%. 10%. It's pretty high.
Man, something is wrong with that.
That's
I feel like they
amazing.
need to add that to sex education or something like that.
Well, they should add a lot to sex education,
That's
but
not even
that's
cool
a
to me.
whole new episode.
Yeah.
I can go off on the sex education, not only in this country, but especially this state.
Really?
Oh, phew.
It's one thing
It's
to be a virgin.
terrible.
It's another thing to not ever have an orgasm. I mean, that's just wow.
Well, but if you don't, again, like, you know, I'll go back to what I said then. If you've never had one, you don't really know what you're not experiencing. As long as you're feeling connected to your partner, sex is still good.
They don't feel
Agreed.
the urge to.
A lot of
have
them will get
one.
close. So what some women do is they will feel like they're about to pee and it freaks them out, and so they'll stop themselves from being able to have an orgasm because they'll clench up,
Yeah.
thinking like, oh crap, I don't want to pee all over
They're
my
afraid to
partner,
pee.
not knowing that that's like the sign to actually just let it go.
Let it
girl.
go.
I mean, that might be TMI, but like, you know, I gotta ask since you're here. So, how come some women squirt and some don't?
That's a really good question. I don't have the answer to.
It's weird. Like,
I
there's
think
even fetishes
there's-
with that. Like,
There's research that
in
most
my mouth.
in your mouth.
Yes.
What?
There's
Squirted in your mouth?
fetishes.
Oh,
saying
in
you're
your.
like
I
people-
thought you went real personal there,
Yeah,
Amber.
no.
Like what?
Not
That's
me
Oh.
No. I'm saying, like, I've talked to people, like, in matchmaking where they, like, I don't know how to tell people I have this fetish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what is it? And like, well, I like somebody to pee on me. Or I like, you know,
Yeah.
I just always wonder how come some people squirt, because I think it's urine, right?
There is actually trace amounts of urine in there, but it's actually more similar to what makes up the ejaculate for men, especially men that like have had oh my goodness, I just blanked on
The snip.
The
snip.
snip.
Yeah.
What's the word for that?
Vasectomy.
Vasectomy. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oscar got me all sorts of muddled up in my brain right now. I don't like it.
He's smiling so big, I guarantee.
Oscar.
I can't even see him, but I guarantee you, I see.
I can hear him chuckling off
I
back there.
can hear him chuckling too. It's all right. My boyfriend will reap the benefits. So vasectomy. So there's no sperm. Whenever men ejaculate, but they still ejaculate after vasectomy. So and there are trace amounts of urine in that as well. Very trace amounts. Same thing with although it's very interesting because they've done an MRI scan for when women are about to squirt, and they do find that even if they've just gone pee, their bladders do fill up before squirting. So there is a little bit of urine in it when it comes out, but it's closer to what makes up the ejaculative male sperm.
I just think some men think all women squirt. Because there's guys that will try to make you, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. So there's theories that all women are capable of it, but it can take practice and whatnot.
We could put some classes together.
I wouldn't even know how to. Honestly, I wouldn't know how to teach
somebody
them.
to teach it.
Other than just relax.
Yeah.
And find the spots that work for you.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's basically saying that research on men is, faking orgasms is sparse. There's where is there even research? If this wasn't in Psychology Today, I probably wouldn't even believe this article at all.
Hold on. Did you say 1 in 4 men or 1 in 4 women?
1 in 4
sexual
men
acts.
fake orgasms out of 1 in 4 sexual encounters.
That
1 in 4 men fake
I can't
it.
even imagine.
Yeah.
Really high.
He's shaking his head like he knows all
Yeah.
about it.
Really?
Well, enlighten us. What's going on? We need to know because
because that sounds wow. Okay.
Well, this is what it says. In a 2016 study conducted by psychologists Leah Seguin and Robin R. Milhausen, also examined the question of the extent to which men fake orgasms. They enrolled 230 men between the ages of 18 and 29 who have reported pretending to have an orgasm with their current sexual partner at least once as participants. The researchers then asked them to fill out a questionnaire about their feigned orgasms. Here, the participants reported faking it in about 1 out of 4 of their sexual encounters with their current partner, mostly during penile, vaginal, penile, rectal intercourse. Neither study offers insight into how men are capable to fake orgasms, but presumably it comes down to the fact that the amount of semen during ejaculation varies tremendously across individuals at the time of sexual encounter. Factors that may affect the quality of semen include male's physical makeup, time of day, partner they're with, how much alcohol they're drinking, and whether they recently ejaculated. Since the amount of semen expressed during a real male orgasm can be minuscule, it is possible that a sexual partner isn't always able to tell if ejaculation has occurred during penile, vaginal, or penile rectal intercourse. However, it is somewhat more of a mystery how ejaculation could be convincingly simulated during oral sex or manual stimulation. Regardless of how men get away with it, the truth is that they do.
So
1 in 4.
57.5 of those men fake it. And of those men, they fake it 1 out of 4 times.
That's crazy.
That's 18, but that was done to 18 through 29-year-olds?
It didn't even say, let's see, did it say an age? I don't think it, yeah, 18, 29.
I would be really curious, how much of that has to do with how much pressure is put on sex in this younger generation, reading, everything. All of your TV shows, all of your music is all about sex. So the amount of pressure that we put on young men and women to perform, I can see. I would be really curious to see if the numbers would change if it were geared towards older men and or wider age range, because those are young kids. And I will say, yes, I got lots of younger men coming into my office thinking that something is wrong with them when there's not.
That's interesting. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, you guys. So you fakers out there, that ain't cool.
We can talk about that.
As long as your woman's happy, who cares?
Just
Or
be
you
honest
know.
about it. Tell her, hey, I'm not in the mood, but I'll play with you. I'll take care of you.
Yeah. And sometimes faking an orgasm actually can lead to a real orgasm. I think we talked about that before with women faking is.
Once they faked it, they relax because they don't feel like they have to do it, and then they can have it.
I just wonder emotionally if women can handle that. Like if women can handle knowing their man faked it emotionally as much as men can understand women sometimes fake it. I mean, because I think people expect women to fake it more because it's harder. But I just wonder if women can handle when their man is faking it.
I mean, again, I think if we did a better job at our sex education, yeah, I think women could handle it if we actually told the truth about what male sexuality and female sexuality is like versus all of this extra amount of pressure and everything else on how you're supposed to perform and what sex is supposed to look like. And there's no such thing.
There's no such thing, guys. That's crazy. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes here on the Matchmaker Hotline on Edge Radio.
A retired Marine and former school teacher is spending his days on the road promoting unity.
His platform is to erase race, and he's trying to do that by traveling the country, visiting 100 cities, spreading his message one conversation at a time.
I was born and raised in Waller County, Texas, just northwest of Houston. As a child of the 60s civil rights era, I lived in a city that was probably 100% black at the time, and that city, Prairie View, Texas, had an educational background that far exceeded the national average. Because of this uncommon occurrence, I grew up lacking the sense of inferiority that many black people experience as a result of segregation and the remnants of the Jim Crow era. In Prairie View, the smartest and most able and capable people the children of that city saw daily were always black. After integration in 1969, I grew up with friends from a variety of ethnic backgrounds, and this continued to expand as I went to college, and my circle of deep relationships continued to grow with football teammates from various parts of Texas and the country, and then expanded even more after I joined the United States Marine Corps, where my relationships began to include foreign cultures and people with whom I never envisioned communicating. Today, after having visited and lived in the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe, I am convinced that we are all far more alike than we could ever realize. Something has hindered that realization for others. Here in the United States of America, we have been plagued for hundreds of years with a concept called race. This concept would have us believe that we are fundamentally very different and our skin color makes us so. Though anthropology, sociology, and medical journals continually refute this, many Americans continue to harbor the erroneous beliefs associated with race. This is what I'm here to change. Hello, I am Carlin Charleston, the Executive Director of Erase Race. We are a 501c4 nonprofit organization designed to remove race from our society and unite people across all demographics and bring them into the novel reality that we are all quite differently the same. That phrase may sound contradictory in itself, but it really makes sense. Once we understand our common origins from whence we all originate, then it becomes much more interesting to see how differently we have evolved in our geographic regions as one people. Erase Race began the work of unifying our country when I embarked upon a 112-city tour last June. Driving the Unity van from coast to coast and from north to south, the thrill of visiting the 48 contiguous states and meeting people I would have never met otherwise was simply amazing. From Baton Rouge to Boston and from Philadelphia to Phoenix, I became more American every day as I met the people that make up this great country, and that is where I want to take you.
This is city number 76.
Shaking hands, visiting people and places, striving for unity as a human race.
It has really been phenomenal. Number one, to travel the country and go to different places in our country and meet the people is what most Americans need to do.
He said there have been surprising interactions, even poignant moments, stopping along sites of historic importance like the Liberty Bell and Harriet Tubman's home. He'll make his final stop in December, but his work will be far from done. Carlin's life is the American Unity Movement, and he's hopeful one day soon people truly won't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
That's my vision, that we have people, and we can then respect people and live with people.
comments. We'd love to hear what you think about this stuff, because during the break we were trying to figure out, or actually before the break we were talking about men faking their orgasms and how men ages 18 to 29, 1 in 4, and this one study showed that 1 in 4 men are faking their orgasms. During the break we talked to producer Vince, and he shedded a little bit of light on why guys fake their orgasms. And he was basically saying, what was it? He just wasn't into it?
Yeah, that once getting started, you know, not feeling it any longer. Either something was going on, or I think somebody else mentioned, like, if she didn't smell good, and like, just anyway, leading up to just like, I'm ready to get this over.
You don't smell good. Like, that's disgusting. How are you going to present yourself for sex and you stink? Like, I don't get it.
I think a lot of women automatically think that they stink. A lot more women actually are more concerned about it. No. I think a lot of women are concerned about their own odor as well. But if they've had other men that have been like, nah, girl, you fine, you're okay, and they're lying about it because they don't want to hurt her feelings.
So a lack of authenticity in communication.
Correct. Like she may actually go, okay, it's just me. Like, I'm the only one that can smell it. I guess it's just because women do smell themselves more readily than men do. In all honesty, like, because I think we're more hypersensitive, and statistically, especially when we're ovulating and or pregnant, our sense of smell is statistically better than men.
Super heightened, man. The nose knows when you're pregnant, doesn't it? And one thing that was interesting was, I've never heard somebody say this before, that she might be too grainy. Like, I'm like, how's a coochie grainy? Like, I've never heard of that before.
I don't know. So I have a friend who several years ago, he was having sex with one of his girls. He was a little bit of a playboy back in the day, and he would complain about how she would feel grainy.
Were they at the beach?
Like no, but that's what he would
Just
liken
curious.
it to. He was like, it was like she had sand up there, but they were never at the beach. They never had sex on the beach, and you know, it's only so long that this. And he did actually have sex with her multiple times, and every time it just. So yeah, I think you mentioned. But go ahead and say it so I could correct you again.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, isn't that a sign of a venereal disease?
Venereal diseases don't exist anymore. Then neither do STDs, actually. So like, they keep changing the lingo. They're now sexually transmitted infections. So STIs. Are what they're called. But
nobody has a VD or a STD anymore. They're all gone. It's just gone.
Correct. Well, the terminology is gone, but the infections remain.
Okay.
Ew.
STI.
Okay.
So yeah. So
Learn something
yes, to answer
Especially
your
here.
question, that can often be a sign of some sort of STI going on.
Okay.
Gross.
Not always. It could be like a yeast infection.
Maybe they were making it at
I'm
the
just
beach.
gonna say, guys, you know, there's some stuff out here you can't throw back. So be careful who you're going raw dog with. Just saying. Okay. Alrighty then. All right, so let's jump into our next topic today. Is about some questions that people write in, and we want to go over them together as a panel. And then coming up in the next hour, we've got some really more fun topics for you guys as well. How the pandemic is really affecting us, not just physically, not just financially, emotionally. It's altering our brain. I mean, it is putting us through it. So in the top of the hour, we'll get into how the pandemic is affecting you and maybe ways you can kind of adjust and bend with it. You know what I mean? You got to stay fluid like water. Okay. So the first topic today is, she says, I feel like I'm going crazy with my husband's constant questioning of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and it feels controlling and weird, and I can't tell if I'm the wrong one or not. She said they've been together for 10 years, married for 3. She's 30 and he's 30. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs, but quarantine has been bringing out more problems for her. She said, I've always thought he was somewhat controlling, but I feel as if quarantine has brought that out even more. Why would that bring it out more? I mean, like, are you going to the garage? I mean, what are you controlling? I am hoping for some advice as to whether I am just hypersensitive or if my feelings are legitimate. He checks on me she said, I mean, probably 5 to 10 times a day. He's always questioning what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. It will be as simple as me reading a book or being on my computer. He comes by and asks kind of aggressively, what are you doing? And if I say nothing, he will say, why are you doing nothing? Shouldn't you be working? Or if I say working on XYZ, he'll sometimes make a comment such as, well, I thought you were going to work on this today. Why are you working on that today? It's the same over other stupid small things, but he is pushing me to my breaking point because I feel like I'm constantly defending myself. Stupid small examples, I'm using the toaster oven to make some toast. I don't even know why. How I tend to toast my sandwiches. He comes in, why are you using the toaster oven to make toast? And I said, oh, I don't know, I just did. And he said, I don't understand why you wouldn't just use the toaster. You're wasting electric and energy. And she's like, I mean, what's the big deal? And he's like, I think you should use the toaster next time. So she just kind of goes and gives several examples of, how he's being controlling. But at the end of the day, she said, my question is, am I crazy? Is it possible that this is just quarantine resentment building up? Or is this a sign of something worse? How can I bring up these things without looking like I'm nitpicking or picking a fight?
The issue that's really bothering this man is not on the surface. It's below what he's asking and saying to her. And maybe that's as close as he can get to it comfortably, or he's not aware of it. But what would be, I believe, in their greatest interest is some really deeply pitted, authentic conversation.
What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, although she did mention that there were signs of him being controlling even before this, like it sounds like anxiety has probably created more of a exacerbated the symptomology that was there already from a therapist standpoint. But yeah, that they're gonna have to either get real or get out.
It sounds like they're at that point that they're being super. He's being super passive aggressive in his approach, and I think they need to come see a therapist.
Yeah,
starting to become destructive.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's telemedicine, guys. You don't have to, even in quarantine, you don't have to go anywhere. You can literally do everything via telemedicine right now.
Yep.
Telemedicine?
Telehealth, telemedicine.
Mm-hmm. Like where you're on the phone or a video with your doctor instead of actually going in person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
And it's actually affordable.
sessions
It's really
as well.
not crazy.
In fact, I have 5 virtual sessions after this.
See? That's it. I'm telling you. But I think overall, if you guys, at the end of the day, some people have basic things, but when you guys, that sounds like it is some kind of resentment. You're starting to resent him, for sure.
Yeah.
But what does he already resent you for, is the question. So therapy, that's our advice. Some things are clear-cut answers, and some things you got to go get some expert help.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is interesting. Okay. I am a 25-year-old male, and I have caused a family conflict after my dad, who's 49, inappropriately touched my girlfriend, 23. What do I do now?
Did he say he caused the family
you caused
conflict?
it? It sounds like your dad caused it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
He says, my girlfriend and I went over to my parents' house for dinner the other night, and there was some alcohol involved. Okay. Once you get to your dad's age, you'll stop blaming the alcohol. Okay. People do what they want to do regardless. We were all drinking and having a good time. Now my dad has been known to be a flirt and talk to other women. This has also included my girlfriend, and my mom knows about it, and she's usually okay with it.
Okay. That's fair.
Are they, I wonder if they're together, or she knows her dad's flirt. That's just a flirt.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with flirting. Like if you have that conversation with your partner about what the boundaries are, because I mean, I can be perceived as a big flirt, but there's a boundary there. Like, I'm not gonna cross it. And everybody knows that kind of thing. But so if dad and mom have that established between each other, where it's like, oh, your dad's just a flirt, but he's never crossed the line.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's their form of being open.
Well, she says that he says my mom is a big flirt herself. She said
She can't flirt with her own son, so it's not like they could just swap.
In some states they can.
Oh.
I would. Okay, so she says I've talked to my girlfriend. Okay, she said, here we go. She said my mom's a big flirt too, and I haven't asked them about their sex life as they're my parents, but I could definitely see them as swingers. She said, I've talked to my girlfriend about the comments that he makes. I told her that I would talk to him about it if it made her feel uncomfortable. She insisted that she didn't and that she thought it was funny and actually nice to hear. And I was kind of surprised that she felt that way, but I wasn't going to do anything since she said it was fine. Well, when we were about to leave, we were giving our goodbye hugs and stuff, and he first pulled her in tightly and then grabbed her butt and squeezed it and said, "Son, you're a lucky guy." She laughed and didn't seem too upset by it. I can't even imagine. Like, you're going to meet the family, and the dad is like, yeah, good choice, honey. Like,
Wow.
how awkward.
Okay. Yeah.
How awkward. I mean, that's embarrassing. I mean, come on, parents. Like, this is your first time meeting the girl, and you're acting like this. That's a lot. I mean, at least let him get warmed up. At least let him meet you and kind of like. But anyway, okay, so he grabbed her butt and squeezed it. While she was walking away, he made another inappropriate comment about it. I had enough, and then I told him to stop it, and he was being disgusting. He got riled up and said to stop being such a
The P word?
Yeah, about it. I started yelling back at him and cussed him out and he started coming at me, but my girlfriend pulled me away. When we were riding home, she asked me why I had to cause that. I told her that it was gross that my dad would do something like that, and she told me that she believed I was wrong for causing that fight because she didn't have a problem with what he was doing. She said she took it as a compliment and thought it was funny. She also said that it was rude for me to try to take up for her like that if I respected her, I would have let her handle it herself. Since then, she has seemed upset with me. I haven't heard from my dad, but my mom texted me and said that what I did was uncalled for. So the mom and the girlfriend are both blaming the kid. Yeah. He says, was I wrong? Should I apologize to my girlfriend, or is our relationship even worth saving? How do I handle things with my family moving forward?
So,
well, if you're okay with having a girlfriend that's okay having your dad grab her bosom,
she's gonna blend right in the family.
She'll blend right in with the dad.
Yeah, that was gonna be my thing. I think he needs to have a conversation with his girlfriend first and talking about their boundaries.
Yeah.
Because if she's okay with other men, pops included, grabbing her, if your boyfriend's not, that's a problem in the relationship. So it's not about the dad. It's about somebody touching his girl.
Yeah.
Right? And not that's a property kind of aspect. I don't mean like his girl in that, like, she's mine, I am Tarzan, she no belong to nobody else. Right. Like, but there is that, like, you have to have the conversation about what are those boundaries, where does flirtation cross the line, like, what are you okay with? And if you're on different wavelengths with that, you may not be able to have a relationship. Right. And then you need to have a conversation with your parents about, I'm not okay with you touching my girlfriends if they come over. Like, this is my boundary with my parents.
Do you think he subconsciously picked someone like his parents?
That's a good question.
I'm like, wow,
maybe.
You know? Because it sounds like they don't even know each other at all. It sounds like he found out his girl is more like his parents than he is.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't like his parents like that. So, you know, some people become like it or they go totally opposite.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's so familiar, it could be very likely that he could attract someone like that too.
Well, and if she's saying, like, I'm flattered by it and he was surprised by that comment, is he going the exact opposite way of his parents, where his parents are very flirtatious, very outward with their appreciation of the physical body? Like, is he embarrassed by that? And so then going like, well, I don't compliment my girlfriend enough. Maybe that's again, that might be part of the conversation to have, is, do I need to be a little bit more?
I think that in a relationship, the compliment that the partner pays their partner is almost never received like when someone else pays that same compliment.
I agree with that too.
It doesn't have the same
not after a little bit of time.
feeling.
At first, obviously, but as time goes on, I can definitely see that where somebody else giving you the compliment does mean a little bit more.
That's interesting how we value the value system. How, like, you know, I saw this meme yesterday, and it's like, we need to treat our spouse and our partners better, because it seems like that's who people take everything out on.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? And we'll treat strangers great. But when it comes to our partner, it's like that's our dumping ground.
Yeah.
So I think, and it's crazy that you would prioritize, especially I've seen it, this is more so for men than women. It's funny how, like, men seem to get more like over time of like, oh, that's my girl. Like, you know, she's just gonna give me a kiss. You get kind of complacent. You get used to that. But if a super fine chick that you ain't never boned before walks by and she gives you the attention, then all of a sudden it's like, that is everything. You know what I mean? Like, you just get so.
Yeah, but it can be but it can be similar with women too if they're not getting compliments from their man or, you know, getting that attention from their male partner. Somebody else at work's, you know, hey, you look nice today.
Yeah, that's what people do. Get online.
Damn,
and they start
girl.
chatting.
You know.
That's how it starts, though. It's like, but back to this, and we got to take a quick break. Go to 5lovelanguages.com and do the test. Do the test because the way you receive love and the way you give love and the way they give and receive are usually totally different. Four totally different things sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And it can be. So you need to go to 5lovelanguages.com, find out what you and your partner's love languages are. Even if you've been together a day or 5 years or 50
it can
years,
change over time.
It will change.
It can change over time.
And it will really, really, truly help you.
I love the 5 love languages.
So we come back. We're going to talk about, if we have time, we'll go through more questions, but we're going to definitely jump into the pandemic and how it's affected you emotionally, physically, and financially right here on the Matchmaker Hotline. Give us 2 minutes. We'll be right back on Edge Radio.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Matchmaker Hotline. This is Matchmaker Radio with my co-host, sex therapist, Jen, and Shaman Eric Davis. Man, this has been a really fun.
Yes.
I don't know, man. You know, y'all had a really fun time with Oscar started the show too, because Oscar is something else. If you missed the show, go back to the top of the hour and watch Oscar. He is single and he's a beast. And you know, that's the rumor anyway. So if you want to meet Oscar, holler at your girl. We'll bring you guys on the Matchmaker Hotline, and we'll do some live matchmaking. And if you're interesting enough, we might even send you out on a date and follow the date and see how fun it is. But I know that Oscar likes ladies that can dance. So if you like to dance, ladies, then Oscar might be your man. And by the way, you have to be kind of smart up top too. So he's definitely well, yeah, a lot actually for him. That's true. Oscar's definitely sapiosexual. So if you're stupid, he's not going to be interested. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go through. Let's go. I'm so inappropriate. Okay, let's go through the Psychology Today article of the pandemic changes your brain even if you don't have COVID. COVID-19 likely has altered our brains, but we can reverse it. So that's the good news with that. And it's just basically saying that there is a report in neuropsychopharmacology reviews suggests that whether you have contracted COVID or not, the pandemic has likely changed your brain. The coronavirus can cause several significant neurological disorders, but aside from that, pandemic isolation and worry can alter brain chemistry and cause mood disorders such as anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. Let's go over the physiological changes. Researchers are suggesting that the impact
caused by the disease.
Yeah, exactly. So the psychological changes are the ones I'm really interested in, Jen, because, you know, aside from the psychological symptoms, another layer of increased anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts has emerged, grief, and in some cases, postpartum grief, the loss of our loved ones, hopelessness, excessive worry over contracting and spreading the virus to other people. Paranoia, seriously. And it's saying, or colleagues are all stressors that may collectively contribute to an imminent rise in symptoms of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. And then, you know, just the social distancing alone. I mean, not being able to be close and hug and touch and feel that chemistry, that's super hard, especially people that your language of love is touch. Social distancing measures for combating the viral outbreak also may have unintended consequences. Can't speak today, such as social isolation, loneliness, abrupt changes to daily habits, and unemployment or financial insecurity, which have all characterized as risk factors of major depressive and post-traumatic stress disorders. So we're going to go, so basically, I don't want to go through all of that stuff, but basically we know that it's causing, it's altering our brain. And, but so basically, here are a few tips to bring your mind into the present moment, instead of worrying about what it is what you can do to improve your brain's health. The first one is saying, this article is in Psychology Today if you guys want to follow along with us. Do something different. Take a different action in response to circumstances in the heat of the moment. For example, if I am consistently calm myself when I'm listening to horrible pandemic news reports, when I might ordinarily freak out, this calming practice can rewire my neural pathways, widen my resilient zone, and even I'll be able to listen without automatically freaking out. If you guys understood that fear is the main agenda with this whole thing, and it is to keep you fear, and because you cannot, it's a couple things. You cannot manifest positive things from a negative state of mind. You have to be in a state of gratitude to manifest. I mean, it's law of attraction. And the universe does not know what you want. It only knows what you think about. So if all you're thinking about is gloom, doom, depression, that's the point, right? And so it's better yet, it is important to limit how often you listen to constant negative reviews. What do you think about that? All the negative?
I mean, definitely. Like, turn off the Facebook, turn off the news, have some fun.
No, I know as a shaman, Eric, what do you recommend for people to really do something different, and how do they get into that Zen place of just
So I recommend that they have a person or confidant or several that they can talk about it to get it off their chest and vent it out. Then I recommend they find something constructive, a constructive, positive way. Find a silver lining in whatever tragedy it is. Then find a constructive, positive way to utilize their energy from that point. And, you know, if you have 3 things to vent, you get them out. You know, you don't want to stuff it down. You want to get it out, purge it, get rid of it. Then you want to look at the silver lining. You find out what benefit can come from this. Even in tragedy, people can turn tragedy into a benefit or to help others.
For sure.
And then you look at how to find ways to spend your time and energy in positive ways with gratitude.
I can tell you on my self-love journey, I've definitely not mastered yet, but mastering this year, which it's shocking but quite impressive. Once you start doing it, it does become a little bit easier, but it's so against your natural ego worrying mind of feeling like we need to figure out how to do everything and control everything. And I'm learning to really understand the orchestration of the moment. Like even the bad things, because usually 9 out of 10 times when something bad happens, it honestly sets you up for something even better. And I think we can't really test our faith and our beliefs until we're put to the test. I mean, you can train all day long, but if you never went through a test, how do you really know what you can get through? And I think it's really just, it is about having, if anyone, a relationship, a job, a friend, the news, if anybody can capture your mind, you're a prisoner at that point.
Yeah.
You've got to set your mind free. You've got to be a free thinker. You've got to think for yourself. Don't just believe, oh, I saw it on the news.
Yeah, no.
Okay, and what is that supposed to mean? And that's why at Edge Radio we're about the truth mattering, because there's so much fake crap out there and you don't know what to believe.
There is.
So many
Do your own
contradictory
research.
stories.
Don't just share that meme. That's the most annoying
Seriously,
thing.
do your research. Find out for yourself. And don't just vote for a candidate because your parents did and their parents did.
Yeah.
Find out what you think. Once you're legally old enough to vote and you're actually able to get an opinion out there, register to vote first of all. On September 26th, we have that party here at Edge Radio, so we'll share more information about that on the Facebook page. You can find the flyer on that as well, and go to my page as well. I'll have that shared. But anyway, do something different. So do something different. But number 2 is stay in the present moment. Man, this is one thing I talk about all the time. Like, seriously. Stay in the present, because when you learn to really master, first of all, let's just look at the world in general. Who would have ever thought this world would be so loony?
The aliens knew it would be.
It is a cartoon, is it right? And they're coming back. Because apparently the Pentagon has released reports that we have UFO activity and another distraction.
Apparently there's life on Venus.
Life on
When
Venus.
did they
I heard
release
the radio
that?
today.
What?
I've seen the Pentagon has released some of that stuff, but yeah,
Recently?
this morning. In the last few months, right?
Life on Venus.
Yeah, that's what they think. There's life on Venus
Well,
of
when
some
you
sort
say
of type
life-
of gas that's there. But right, it could be a plant.
Like a plant.
They don't know.
Okay, I
They
was
don't know.
wondering. Yeah.
As far as I know, we haven't been to Venus yet.
I know. We're from there, right? Okay.
Men are from Mars.
Women are from Venus.
That's right.
That's
That is a
their
really
way.
good book. That
Yeah.
really is a good book. I like that book. It was actually kind of the first. It was the first relationship book I ever read when I was younger. And I was like, wow, this relationship stuff is pretty interesting. And it really, I mean, mom is a matchmaker, so we have it in our family. But when you start really reading books and you really get involved, and especially when you look at different theories on love and relationships and matchmaking, it's just like psychology. There's so many different belief systems to that. It's like you have to go with the one that resonates with your soul. You know?
Well, statistically speaking, the male brain and the female brain do develop differently. So how can you expect people to be of opposite genders to be the same? I mean, there are exceptions to every rule, of course. I mean, if you go back to like caveman days, of course we had women warriors, we had women hunters, but by and large, statistically, it was men warriors and men hunters, and then women would stay back at the huts and take care of the babies and the elderly and start cooking dinner and foraging in the trees and all of that stuff.
Barefoot and pregnant?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Eric, you might have missed the episode that Jen and I did where we were talking about how women back in the day, women actually were promiscuous for the best seed.
Women were not monogamous. They were trying to get the
When
best.
was this?
A couple.
Because that's how it is now.
Oh, women, yeah, we reverted back to our original roots. Women have become like men in every sense of the word. That's very true.
Our muscular system is still different, though.
Yeah.
Our brain is different.
Yeah. We're smarter. Okay, all right, so let's move on. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. But
I don't feel like she just said that.
I'm kidding. Okay, so stay in the present moment. Stay in the present moment. That is what we're talking about. Okay, so basically,
but that being said, yes, like you want to learn from your past, and you want to give credence to daydreaming. Not enough people daydream, and especially if you've been together for a really long time and you've met I have the career that I wanted, and we have the 2.5 children, and we have the beautiful house with the white picket fence. I don't know, that was what people used to daydream about back in the 50s, but whatever. You get what you want. And then you feel like, what's there left to daydream about? Well, find something new to so daydreaming and figuring out, like, this is what I want to do in the future. I want to go to the Alps, the Swiss Alps. Like, I want to go to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I want to sing like Maria in Sound of Music. Like,
seriously, have a bucket list. Like, life is too
right.
How can you not?
Yeah.
How can you just get in a relationship or even be single and just think that's all the rest of life?
Right.
Like, I've done everything.
Right.
Graduated college. What else? I got a job now. What else? Come on.
Yes.
Dude.
So there is something to, like, the past and the future, but yes, you want to spend the bulk of it, like, this is what's today, and how is today going to help me get to tomorrow? But this is what's happening today and where I am, and, you know, really grounding yourself.
I just see so many people thinking, when I get that next job, when I get that next car, when I get that next person, or the next, I mean, and you know, if I just make more money, okay, well, you just made, just throw a number, you just made 10 grand. Oh, well, you know, that's okay, but when I get that next 20, then I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People, that's what I mean by the present. It's like people, and I love to daydream. I'm a huge dreamer. I totally co-sign that. That definitely, I mean, use your imagination or your relationship will get very boring.
Yeah.
You know, it takes work to keep it together. It really does. But at the end of the day, you know, enjoy the moment, celebrate the small victories. Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
We have no idea. So I think it's good to dream. It's always good to have a plan. But if today is your last day, because you never know, I'm sure the people that got up on 9/11 thought they were going to go home to their people too.
Yeah, and nobody dies going, man, I should have spent more time at work.
No.
Thank you. Even Steve Jobs said that on his deathbed. He's like, the thing that you're going to really, when you're on that deathbed and you're looking back, it's who'd you love, where'd you go, who'd you spend time with. None of it was about where you lived and what car you drove and how much money you had. Because guess what? As he found out, you can't take it with you. So
it's a TV show about that. You can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you. I mean, you couldn't be a real asshole move. But anyway, all right, guys. So we're gonna take a quick break on the Matchmaker Hotline, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
A retired Marine and former school teacher is spending his days on the road promoting unity.
His platform is to erase race, and he's trying to do that by traveling the country, visiting 100 cities, spreading his message one conversation at a time.
I was born and raised in Waller County, Texas, just northwest of Houston. As a child of the 60s civil rights era, I lived in a city that was probably 100% black at the time, and that city, Prairie View, Texas, had an educational background that far exceeded the national average. Because of this uncommon occurrence, I grew up lacking the sense of inferiority that many black people experience as a result of segregation and the remnants of the Jim Crow era. In Prairie View, the smartest and most able and capable people the children of that city saw daily were always black. After integration in 1969, I grew up with friends from a variety of ethnic backgrounds, and this continued to expand as I went to college, and my circle of deep relationships continued to grow with football teammates from various parts of Texas and the country, and then expanded even more after I joined the United States Marine Corps, where my relationships began to include foreign cultures and people with whom I never envisioned communicating. Today, after having visited and lived in the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe, I am convinced that we are all far more alike than we could ever realize. Something has hindered that realization for others. Here in the United States of America, we have been plagued for hundreds of years with a concept called race. This concept would have us believe that we are fundamentally very different and our skin color makes us so. Though anthropology, sociology, and medical journals continually refute this, many Americans continue to harbor the erroneous beliefs associated with race. This is what I'm here to change. Hello, I am Carlin Charleston, the Executive Director of Erase Race. We are a 501c4 nonprofit organization designed to remove race from our society and unite people across all demographics and bring them into the novel reality that we are all quite differently the same. That phrase may sound contradictory in itself, but it really makes sense. Once we understand our common origins from whence we all originate, then it becomes much more interesting to see how differently we have evolved in our geographic regions as one people. Erase Race began the work of unifying our country when I embarked upon a 112-city tour last June. Driving the Unity van from coast to coast and from north to south, the thrill of visiting the 48 contiguous states and meeting people I would have never met otherwise was simply amazing. From Baton Rouge to Boston, And from Philadelphia to Phoenix, I became more American every day as I met the people that make up this great country, and that is where I want to take you.
This is city number 76.
Shaking hands, visiting people and places, striving for unity as a human race.
It has really been phenomenal. Number one, to travel the country and go to different places in our country and meet the people is what most Americans need to do.
He said there have been surprising interactions, even poignant moments, stopping along sites of historic importance like the Liberty Bell and Harriet Tubman's home. He'll make his final stop in December, but his work will be far from done. Carlin's life is the American Unity Movement, and he's hopeful one day soon people truly won't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
That's my vision, that we have people and we can then respect people and live with people.
Good thing it's Tuesday, not Monday, because I think people would still be asleep on Monday, not catch everything we're doing here. But we're talking about sex, baby. We've been talking about relationship questions and how you can improve your sex life by faking it if you're a man, apparently. So, apparently 1 in 4 guys are out here faking it, ladies, or at least in this one study. Yeah. Have you ever had your man fake it? Have you ever busted your man faking it? Leave a comment. We have a live page right now. We're live on Facebook network. Facebook Radio Network on Facebook.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Edge Radio Network on Facebook.
I think it's Edge Radio TV now, isn't it?
Yeah, Edge Radio TV on Facebook. Check out the page, and we can see your questions. We can see your comments right now. If you have ever had that situation, we'd love to hear from it and know how you handled it. Because I just think as a woman, we're gonna feel a little bit more rejection if we find out our man's faking an orgasm compared to if as a guy, if you found out your girl faked it every now and then, you probably wouldn't even really care, right?
I would care about the lack of honesty.
Oh.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want authenticity and honesty. I would so much rather know that.
Right, but would it be different if she had said to you, I felt like I was close, and I've heard that faking it whenever you're close, but it's just not coming, can sometimes lead to it. So that's what I was trying to do. Would that sound any differently to you if afterwards?
Well, that
she
would
was
be a
able to
different
say,
intent.
Right.
Saying, "Hey, I had one when I didn't," is faking it.
Right.
Going through the sounds and emotions. I mean, you can if you really know that person,
her body, you can
and
usually
her body
tell.
and
or
the
if
anatomy,
you know his body, you can
tell.
usually tell. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There is no doubt when it's happening.
Yeah, and we've talked about different reasons why men and women might fake it. Like men being I'm just not feeling it and want to get it over with, but society says we're supposed to be virile and we're supposed to be able to come and we're supposed to be able to do all these things. So, hey, I'm done, kind of thing. Or I think somebody had said, when they were trying to conceive and their partner didn't actually want to have a baby.
Oh,
he faked it.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Wow,
that's really big.
Yeah, that's gonna lead to some other problems. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think it led to divorce. Is what happened there.
Seriously. Yeah, but it's better to know. And if you are on two totally different pages about having kids or parenting, that's a huge deal breaker. Yeah. I mean, that's not. There's no negotiation skill you can have for that.
Yep, I've definitely had several couples come in with, well, we were on the same page when we got married, but as time happened, I still want kids and my partner doesn't. Because is this lovable?
And that's the thing
one turned
too.
the page and one did not.
Yeah.
But see, as women, we've got to stop thinking we can change our partner.
No build-a-boos.
No build-a-boos, and just thinking if they go in and they tell you it's like women catch a glimmer of hope or something and ride that wave to the death. No, I don't want kids. Are you sure? Well, I don't think I want kids. But if there's even that little glimmer of hope, she's going to be on that like white on rice. And then if they come to that realization, like, you know, I've thought about it more over the last 5 years being together, and I don't. And then, well, I thought maybe you would, you know.
It's not always the women. I've had
True.
about half of the couples that have come in have been, he really wants to be a daddy, and she did not.
That's what happened with Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he went and had a whole bunch of kids. Are they back together? Like,
Brad and Angelina or Brad and Jen?
Brad and Jen.
I don't think
I
so.
know they were circulating that in all those rumors.
Yeah, that's because everybody wants them to be there because they
We
were a
want y'all
golden
back
couple.
together. We know y'all
Why?
love each
They didn't
other.
work.
Because of the baby situation. Now he went and had a bunch of kids, and now they're good. Like, they should be good now, right? I mean, she has a kid too now, don't she? I think she had a baby.
Justin Theroux, did she have a kid with
I
Justin?
thought she did.
I think that was just a rumor
Was
too.
that
I
just a
didn't think she
rumor,
ever
too?
had any baby.
Okay. Well,
know.
you know, now that her eggs are dried up, and you don't even have to fight about it anymore. Now you can go back and
Yeah, but now she's saddled with her ex-man's other lady's kids.
I mean, it was bad enough that cheated
Wait,
on her.
her
She'd have to get past the
ex-boyfriend's
affair.
ex-girlfriend's
Her ex-husband's
ex-wives,
ex-wives,
children are still his children. He legally adopted all of the kids. So now she gets to have a reminder that, like, hey, you cheated on me and had all these kids with this other woman,
and we broke up.
And we broke up because of it. Like,
that would be a lot.
I don't know. I think that's a lot to ask of Jennifer.
That's a lot of suitcases to carry around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Whereas starting over fresh, like, well, as fresh as you can is Brad Pitt, because it's not like he's not a household name or anything.
Right.
You know, at least it's not.
And the thing about him too, though, is that not only it did one thing if they had like a couple biological kids, but they have like a bunch of kids they adopted too.
Yeah.
So they've got like a herd. I mean, they've got like a small army. So it's not going to be easy to cook for them. Is all I'm saying.
No, but they're rich. They hire cooks.
They may have a cook in that house.
Jennifer Garner is the only one that I know that actually. Have you ever watched her show on Instagram? Oh, on Instagram, she's so adorable. She loves to like pretend like she's a camera cook, so she'll like cook little meals. She's so cute. I love Jennifer Garner.
Dude, I've been watching that show Cobra Kai.
Yeah, me too. You missed the karate chop earlier.
I watched the whole second. I watched both seasons.
Yeah, we have 2 more episodes of season 2 left.
You do?
Yeah.
OMG, guys. Like, if y'all ever watched Karate Kid when you were growing up, go watch the original Karate Kid, not the one with Jackie Chan and, what's his name?
Will Smith's kid?
Yeah.
Jaden
Smith. Not that. That was cute. I mean, I saw that.
Oh, I thought it
that
was
Cute.
terrible.
But it was terrible because we hate it because it's not the original.
No, I'm an 80s girl.
Dude, I love the 80s. And, like, I'm telling you,
how great is the soundtrack to Cobra Kai?
Oh, dude.
Oh my God!
Dude,
all of the music is so good.
Ralph Macchio was my first crush, like on-screen crush. Oh, I'm so disappointed he's not
Emilio
that attractive
Estevez
nowadays,
was mine.
But, no, actually, you know who my real first crush was Kiefer Sutherland in Lost Boys. That was my original
He was
one.
a hot vampire.
He was a hot vampire, and then it was Ralph Macchio, and then it was Tom Cruise.
Mine was Emilio Estevez in Young Guns. Young Guns too. Oh yeah.
Tom Cruise was pretty hot in Risky Business. Was it Risky Business?
Risky Business.
Yeah.
Where he's coming out with the shirt dancing.
Little shirt dancing with his little short self. But you know what? But Ralph Macchio. Ralph did not turn out to be that attractive. Like the other guy.
Ugly.
He's not ugly. It's just like.
But I've always found him kind of weird looking.
Peter kid.
I was never Ralph Macchio attractive. I never found him attractive.
I think the other guy is Johnny. I think he's
William
like
Zabka?
he was super hot back then.
You know, he was actually 3 years. He's about 3 years younger than Ralph Macchio.
Is he?
Yeah. So like Elizabeth Shue, who played the original love interest, Allie, in the first one, is a year. Ralph was the oldest one, and yet he was the one. I think he played like a junior or sophomore, and Johnny was supposed to be a senior. So
Which is small. Interesting.
So you've already checked the scoop out on all these people.
I like to research things, and so like as we've been watching Cobra Kai, like one of us will ask a question, and I'll get on my phone and research.
Dude, it is so well written.
It is
and,
so
and
good.
And just the part, I laughed my ass off at like how they have Johnny stuck back in the 80s with all his.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
He's like, yeah, make me a commercial and add some Thunderstruck to that, and she's like, I don't think you own the rights to that. He's like,
Hey, do I
yes,
have
I
this
do.
in my car? The tape in
the
my
cassette's
car.
in my car right now. Oh my
I love
God,
it.
that is so funny.
You know what I really like about the show is, so I don't know if y'all ever saw like How I Met Your Mother and William Zabka when he came on that show, and then like there's this theory that really Ralph Macchio's character Daniel was the actual antagonist, and he was actually the bad guy. And you get to see in Cobra Kai Johnny's perspective of like, he kept coming at me, he's the one that kept doing this. And then even now, like, if you have that mindset, or you can see that as you're watching the show, you can kind of see, like, there are times when Daniel is the antagonist, and you're like, oh my God, just listen to him. Johnny is not the jerk that you think he is. Like, hear him out, but he automatically jumps to conclusions because of this age-old, like, butting head.
Douchebag.
Yeah.
Since the original Sensei. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
But one thing that I got out of this, it was saying how people, like, it's not that anyone's wrong.
Yeah.
That we're all
just perspective.
It's what we've learned or haven't learned, and hurt people, and like, and it really shows you what Johnny dealt with abuse. And I caught that, but they didn't allude to it. When he was flashback, when he was talking about when he met the sensei, like a young boy himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, his mom died. And he goes,
his dad died, and his stepdad was a jerk, and then his mom died later.
What does his stepdad do to him? See, because he was crying, because he was like, my stepdad's been, and then the guy cut him off, and I'm like, So I think there could be a deeper character plot to that.
For sure.
But watch Cobra Kai, guys.
It's
it is
so
the number
good.
one show
It's on Netflix
Facebook.
now.
Netflix, yes.
Started out on YouTube, so you couldn't watch it unless you had like a special subscription. But now, if you had Netflix.
And at the end of it, they said more. It has to have more seasons.
Their season 3 is coming. They've already finished wrapping. They've already finished filming it. It's just a matter of coming out. I think they said, I've done all that research too. Coming out in 2021.
Nice.
But they haven't set a specific
That's too long.
date.
We need it now.
I know.
Especially when they leave the cliffhanger at the end of that. Like,
I don't.
I'm not gonna tell you yet. But watch Cobra Kai. But before you watch it, go watch the original Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Because it really, if it didn't do anything else for me, it really did show me how you only know one perspective.
Yeah.
And you only saw it from that one side.
And as bad as Karate Kid 3 is, watch it too, because it does do some allusions to that one. And then I've heard rumors for either the 3rd or 4th season that even some people from Karate Kid 2 are going to come back in.
Oh, interesting.
So my boyfriend and I watched the first one and the 3rd one, and then we're gonna go back and watch the 2nd one because
we highly recommend that. If y'all can't tell, we love it. It is good.
It's very well done.
Super funny, very well written. I mean, like, I'm very impressed. They did a hell of a job. Okay, so let's go back to our article because we started talking. Hey, Coty, tuning in. We started talking about Karate Kid and got lost on my junior high crush. But anyway, okay, so we definitely said stay present in the moment, and that just, like you said, let's plan for the future, but also just appreciate the moment, because it is the small victories.
Yes.
It is the small things that
Sometimes
matter.
you have to take it day by day, minute by minute even. Like, I tell clients that are in that like major depressive episode where it's stop trying to figure out tomorrow, just figure out an hour from now.
Exactly.
Like,
baby steps.
Yeah.
1 minute now.
It's literally
1 minute from now. Yes.
Yeah, because, and that's what I'm saying, especially when it comes to money. If you don't enjoy the small victories when it comes to those sort of things, and you're like, I'll be happy when.
Yeah.
And if you catch yourself saying, I'll be happy when, that's your clue that you're not living in the present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Check yourself on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, so we both watch Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Have you been watching this season?
I have watched it lately.
Watch it. I know I keep getting on T4. Watch it, because there's a couple on there, Brett and Olivia, who have a major difference in how they handle money. She makes a lot more, and so she says, with my spare money, like, I like to go to the Saints games and I like to go traveling. And he's like, we can't do that, because everything that he makes extra goes into a retirement fund.
Oh,
and she's like, so when do you play? Like, when do you have time to play? So
that's a deal
gonna,
breaker.
yeah. It's very interesting.
I'm serious, because so many people work their ass off to retire and they don't ever make it to that age.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, when I get 75, I'm gonna be good. No, bro. Like,
Or they
how about
live less
35?
than a year.
Right.
How about 35? I mean, if you haven't paid attention to what's going on in this world, tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Now, that doesn't mean don't have a retirement fund.
Again,
but
plan for the future.
But yeah, like,
play.
balance it out, because today is right here, right now. So play right now, have some fun right now, but set that budget so that you can budget for today and you can budget for tomorrow.
Exactly. That's right. And a lot of people found out the hard way that having a budget during a unforeseen pandemic was probably a really good thing. So yeah, it's great to save, but at the same time, enjoy today. Okay, so number three, some tips here to kind of help you get through the pandemic. Number three, call upon your thinking brain. In addition to a mindful, relaxing technique when you're frazzled to start to sizzle, it is possible to develop the habit of calling on the executive function of your prefrontal cortex to cool down the hot-headed pandemic fears and make better decisions. The prefrontal cortex helps you realize that things are not usually as bad as your survival brain registers them to be, so you can take a breath and step back and calm down worry. I noticed this a lot when I worked at Vincent Adventures in a private social club, and people would come in and they would be, because there's really no competitor to it, and people would come in and like, I'm ready to meet friends, I'm ready to get my bucket list out, I'm ready to travel, but that prefrontal cortex is over here like fear. Dude, there's no more dinosaurs around. There's no, that hardwiring we had from those caveman days is still there. But we're not in as much fear. I mean, we shouldn't be in as much fear as the caveman days, I would think. I don't know, maybe worse, right?
Well, we're not going to have tigers and
Different
lions
type
and
of
bears,
fears.
oh my, coming at
There
us.
she goes back to the tigers. The tiger's out of the bag.
But I went Wizard of Oz that time. So we're not going to have lions and tigers and bears coming at us unless, we're like Bear Grylls or something like that who like goes out and looks for them. But we do have emotional fears and emotional hardships, and there are cars. Like, cars kill more people. Or
1 in 200.
Yeah, I mean,
die in
car
a car
accidents all the time. So
1 in 200 die in a car wreck?
1 in 3,500 in a plane. 1 in 19 million die of corona.
The actual disease, not the complications of it.
Yes. So, and even then, people die of the complications. Majority of those.
So what I'm saying is, you should really be afraid to leave your house by getting a car. No, that's not what I'm saying.
No.
But understand, like, you have to live. Like, we are the apex predator on this planet. The apex predator on this planet. We are here. I just wanted to go, we're here, we're queer, deal with it. We're here, we're gonna stay here. Like, we're not leaving anytime soon.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Unless that asteroid hits us, like you're saying.
Well, but,
I mean, this is 2020.
But that's 2023,
We've had a double
right?
hurricane.
I mean, 2032.
We've got UFOs. We've got an asteroid.
I mean, yes. I mean, the aliens might come and take half of us off the planet.
aliens
Thanos
are
might be
gonna come
real.
get us.
He might just all of a sudden get all his rings and wipe half the population out. It's fine. Why he didn't make more resources with his ring, I don't understand.
Who a resource
Why?
with what ring?
So Thanos in all of the Avenger movies and whatnot, do you not watch these? He gets all his 5 rings, and what he does with them, because his thinking is actually really correct. It's like, we're overpopulated and we are destroying our planet.
Yes.
So rather than create, he can create things or destroy things with his rings or whatever. So rather than create more resources, he decides to wipe out half the population arbitrarily. Like, he doesn't pick and choose. He just says, poof, 50% of you.
The wipeout wand.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Well, that's the whole point. Have y'all seen the Georgia Guidestones? How they're like those big, like this, what were the Stonehenge? They're like that.
Okay. Yeah,
they're like 25-foot granite.
Monoliths?
Pillars.
Is that what they're called?
Pillars.
Monoliths.
Yeah, pillars. That has, so they're in English, Chinese, and Indian, and they're literally written. How to restart the world.
Oh.
Number 1.
I heard about those.
And there's actually a what do you call it? An underground. What do you call it? Time capsule that's there as well. But when you look at the writing, number 1 says start the population with 500,000 people. No more than 500,000 people. So I get it. It is about resources.
Yeah.
It is about the planet. We are overpopulated to that point. But I think there's better things we can do than just the stuff that's being done now to eliminate us. And that's what this is really about. It's just the resources. It's what it's always been. But
how did we get off track? What are we even talking about?
I don't even know. But okay, we're talking about your thinking brain.
Oh, we're thinking.
that.
We're thinking. All right.
That.
But to not promote more fear. We're just basically saying that you don't have to look through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
But you do have the capacity to take an impartial bird's-eye perspective on the threatening situation.
And to give your thinking brain a leg up on situations. So one of the things that happens to our body on a neurological level and a physiological level when we're starting to get anxious and stressed and afraid and all of that stuff, our body is warming up because it's turning on our fight, flight, or freeze system, which in order to run, your muscles got to be warm, right? Like in order to fight, your muscles are warm. So your body starts to actually physically heat up, which is why you might say people are seeing red when they get angry, right? Things like that. To give your prefrontal cortex a leg up, you should actually cool your core system down. So go to that Sonic and get that slushie because they have the best ice in the entire world. I don't work for them, but I will promote their ice until the day I die.
This is true.
Frozen yogurt, take cold showers. And especially right now, it is still hot as balls outside.
It
So
really is.
cold showers to cool your core, your temperature, your core temperature down in order to allow your prefrontal cortex to work more optimally.
Just listening to us talk, it's like I always get so lost in the miracles and wonders of just human beings. Like, it's just amazing that we're just so perfectly and wonderfully made, just like for every. I mean, it's just, it's
we're meant
mind-blowing.
my whole shtick on emotions. There's no such thing as positive or negative emotions because we're made to have every single emotion that we have. We have them for a reason. It's what we do with them that can be the unhealthy thing, not that we have the emotion itself.
Agreed. I'm coming around to her way of thinking.
And another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
And you know what? You made me want to go roller skating. Remember? Come on. We're showing our age.
There was a roller skating scene in Cobra Kai.
I know. That was so cute, too. He's like, yeah, I look like this guy named Dan Johnson.
Instead of Don Johnson. That was funny.
I just can't. When you watch the ending of the show, you have to call me right away.
Okay.
Because you're going to, like.
It'll probably be like 2 a.m. tonight.
You're not even going to be ready for the edit. You're not even prepared. Okay. So so number 4, talk to your worry. Worry and fear are nature's protectors, but they overestimate threats and underestimate our ability to handle them.
Yes.
All in all, efforts to keep us out of harm's way. The pattern gets grooved into the brain, but as we start to take notice of the worry, take a few deep breaths and even talk about it with talk to it with something like, okay, worry, I see that you're here.
Yeah.
And you're trying to protect me. Thank you. But I'm all right now. And the worry will usually calm down.
Yeah. I love that externalization we call that externalization of the problem.
I love that. It just kind of talk to it like it's external. I love that. Yeah. It says, with these relaxing practices, you introduce a new neural pathway and can change the whole pattern of anxious pandemic thinking to one in which you have a larger perspective and much more stillness, calm, and positivity. Now, Eric, with you being a shaman, I mean, you're like the epitome of calm, okay? And you do many different things to really get yourself to those places. What would be your advice and the best way to talk to your fears? How do you do that?
Say, okay, I realize that I'm feeling fear about this situation. What is the fear here to teach me? Why has fear come into my life as a teacher? How am I going to grow and evolve where I no longer have fear teaching me? Where I can have kindness, compassion, and love as my teacher.
So true. It's so true. Either offering out of fear or love. I mean, it's just one of the two things, I think. Okay, guys, we got to take a quick 2-minute break here on the Matchmaker Hotline. And when we come back, we're going to keep talking about sex, baby. And we're also going to keep talking about how you can have a few tips to kind of get through the pandemic thing as it's affecting you mentally, emotionally, and financially. We'll be back on the Matchmaker Hotline. See you in a minute.
We've been out of control since we got hit back in March 2020. Mortality rates keep climbing. Infection rates go up and down and then back up again. How long will this go on? No clear answer. Will a vaccine even be effective as this virus continues to spread and to mutate? No clear answers there either. I'm a trained nutritionist, herbologist, personal trainer, behavior modification, and stress sciences expert. I'm also a COVID-19 and pneumonia survivor. I've watched the continuous wall-to-wall news coverage, and while yes, wearing a mask and social distancing are crucial now, you're not being given important tools that you need in order to fortify your first line of defense, your best line of defense, which is your own immune system. What's going on here? There are simple, affordable, and natural ways to help build your immune system to fight any virus or bacteria now, and it starts inside of you. That's why I need to invite you to join me for Beyond the Mask, an intimate talk about vital ways to immediately begin boosting your immune system. Are you worried about the potentials of a second wave? Are you concerned now that your immune system may not be strong enough? Let me show you now the changes that will allow you to optimize it. Let me show you how to maximize your exercise benefits in a 12-minute routine that you'll do every other day to easily increase your metabolism, strengthen your respiratory and immune systems, and give you better circulation throughout your body. Listen, sugar feeds both bacteria and viruses. Let me show you ways to kick that sugar addiction now and to get some weight off. Let me share with you keys to better nutrition that boosts your immune system. We are all under too much stress, and stress weakens your immune system. It single-handedly leaves you vulnerable to all kinds of health issues and infections because stress reduces your immune cell numbers and their ability to function. Let me show you tools that you'll easily integrate into your daily life now to naturally reduce your stress cortisol response. I also want you to know about some nutritional supplements that have been shown to naturally improve your immune system and your overall health. Since January, there have been over 700 studies released worldwide on the relationship between COVID-19 and vitamin D3 deficiency. You need to know why. You want to improve your own immune defenses now, want to take back your control? Sign up today for Beyond the Mask and join me as I give you information and tools to easily get you back on track towards a healthier overall immune system now.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Gill. Today we are joined with our co-host, sex therapist Jen Riley, and John and Eric Davis. I love the show, and y'all missed the show. It's super interesting. We've been talking about everything from Karate Kid, sex, taking orgasms. Now we're talking about how you actually get the endemic of the mental and the emotional part.
Go watch Cobra Kai, and that'll
Cobra
help you get
Kai.
through some of it.
Makes me want to do karate, right?
Yeah.
I love it. It's like, you know what? I've always thought about karate, but I'm kind of like that kid that comes in. He's like, I want to do like the flag football version of karate. I don't really wanna,
that
really
kid is so
hit.
annoying that he's like, I want to
You
do
mean like
karate,
light
but I
contact?
don't ever want to get hit. I don't want to do it in any of the work. I don't want to practice. So how do I do karate without doing anything?
So the school I came up in
Speaking
karate
of karate,
was light
Eric's a black
contact.
belt.
Really?
Yeah, we had light contact. You could be disqualified for hard contact.
See, that, I can do that.
And we taught self-defense and effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's light contact, and our concept is we have to get up and go to work tomorrow after the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, karate is not our life. It's a big part. But tomorrow we have to get up and function in the real world.
Yeah.
And the kids have to get up and go to school because tournaments are on the weekends, and
Yeah.
we're like light contact. It was the way.
You're so funny. Eric is so humble. We'll sit here and have this whole conversation about Karate Kid, and Eric will be over here sitting here as a black belt expert and don't say a word. And we're over here like, whoa. He's like, you don't know what you're doing at all.
I was having way too much fun listening. You know, there's a value in being a good listener. Sometimes you just get to have all the fun.
Yeah, it's Eric. It's so funny.
So yeah, guilty as charged. I'm a black belt. I was an instructor.
And
for
that's why
years.
he has all those things you were talking about. And yeah, he has a reason.
All those things.
Those thingies.
I have things?
Those little.
Size sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
You
size
like my
sticks.
sound effects? Okay, so let's get through the.
Raphael was the Ninja Turtle with the size, right?
Oh, I remember.
Donatello
Okay.
had the rod.
I remember
Michelangelo
that.
had the
All I know
nunchucks.
is I got to go to Disney World and I got to dance with the chick from the Ninja Turtles.
Really?
She called me out and had me dance with her.
Nice.
Aw.
And
April
all my
O'Neil,
college
the
friends
clever
were like,
faker.
"Oh my god, how did that happen?" I'm like, I think I was the only one not gawking at her, and so she felt safe.
I really think that today's episode, I'm really showing my nerd girl talking about Thanos and Ninja Turtles.
Sapiosexual. You already warned them. You already told them you're sapiosexual. All right, well, let's get through these last 3 tips here. If you're following along with us, for
Nerd girl.
Psychology today, psychology. So basically, number 5 is this: contemplate nature. You know, if you're stumped for a solution at work, stressed out, or overwhelmed with the pandemic, spend some time with Mother Nature. It gives you supercharge. It gives you those aha moments that you can't really get in the workplace. Be mindful of the breeze. Literally, I just go back to Karate Kid and just meditate. Literally, meditating is so powerful. Prayer is only half of it, but you have to meditate so you can hear the answers. And you know, smell the leaves or the flowers. Pay attention to the sounds of the insects and the birds and the bushes and the rushing of water. Look up at the clouds. Watch the grass grow. I mean, seriously. And the truth is, in 2014, I was really having this crisis of consciousness of my faith, what I really believed, because I think I was going through something so hard at that time that I had this attitude of like, why, you know, if you're a God, why would this happen? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people go through that. And I had this intuition to tell me to get into science. Science will prove your faith. And I was like, science? You know? But then when you really start looking at the golden ratio, the rate of expansion, if you look at everything in the universe, if the gases were a trillionth of a % off, how everything has the right ecosystem, how we're made to give birth and procreate. I mean, if you literally, and just get lost into space itself, it never ends. They've measured it. Space does not end. You can literally, so even when people say I'm an atheist, I don't believe that God created humans. Okay, well, what about the universe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really about that, but that's where I can attest to getting into science and nature and getting lost. Go stand by the ocean and look how big that is compared to you.
Yeah.
And you're going to see how the miraculousness of nature and how everything has the way it's supposed to eat, the way it's supposed to work, and how things, you know, it's like they say, like the bird will feed off the insects, and then the bird dies, and the insects feed off the bird, and it's just cycle of life.
Cycle of life. Which one? There was like one of the Dan Brown books, or maybe all of the Dan Brown books, that kind of really talked about how science and religion actually go hand in hand if you really pay attention to it. They're not meant to be.
I mean, because really,
separate.
this is all math. I mean, God is the ultimate mathematician at the end of the day. This is math. And I mean, so get into science. That's my recommendation. If you're feeling discouraged, you're having if you feel like your faith is under attack, or maybe you don't know what you believe, I think it will just help you to get into science and start looking at the miracles of space and our planet as it is. Okay, number 6. This is not anything I do, but you might want to try it. Is exercise.
Yeah.
Take a brisk 10-minute walk and sustain your energy level. I think walking is really.
I love walking.
Walking
I can't
is
run
the
worth
best.
a
me either.
damn, but I love to walk.
Yeah, walking a brisk walk. If you have an animal, get out, do some little runs. There's beautiful trails and parks and nature. There's all kinds of places you can go.
But people are getting into it. That's what. Do you know? Like, oh my gosh, a barbell set has gone up in price because they're sold out everywhere.
Wow.
I recently bought a
printers
bike, and it was so hard to find a bike.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to get out.
There are a lot of things that stores are out
I
of
couldn't even
now
find a
that they used to.
printer. Like when everybody started working from home, they had none.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is crazy.
But all you need is your feet. You don't need exercise equipment.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, I think just getting out and going for a brisk walk is really good. It helps clear your mind, get you out in nature. Okay, and the last thing is capitalize on technology. Wearable devices, digital platforms, and technologies like smartphones and tablets can provide viable routes for the delivery of mental health care, especially under isolation measures and during limited access to health services, activity trackers, personalized interventions by monitoring patients' cognition, heart rate, sleep patterns, and mood in real time, indicating when the wearer may benefit from activities such as meditation, exercise, or extra sleep, guided meditation apps. I love the guided meditation. Do you ever use those?
So a confession. I think meditation is great. I suck at it. So I will tell that to people too. Like when people first start getting into meditation, start with 30 seconds or even a minute.
Yeah.
Don't try and hop into those 10-minute meditations if you're not, if it's not something you're used to doing, because it can aggravate you if you're not prepared on how to like actually clear your mind and actually sit there and sit with yourself. Start small. And
It
then
can
grow.
aggravate you.
Yeah.
Being alone is probably one of the hardest things people have to go through, but the most necessary for the self-love journey.
Yeah, I do like guided meditations. So I like somebody telling
To
me
talk
what to
down,
do.
lay down.
Think about
your arms
this.
down.
Yes.
Your
Breathe
voice
in.
is so
Now breathe
sad.
out. Yes.
It's so
But I can't do it by myself. Like I
All
struggle
right,
with
so
it.
you got the problem. So what do we do? What does she do?
I meditate for about 2 hours every morning.
Okay, but how do you get her to that point? How do you get her to 10 minutes?
I think that when we finish a show one time, that we'll go over there and meditate here, and I'll teach you how to meditate, and I'll help.
You'll have to pre-plan
Yeah.
that for me because I usually have a 3 p.m. session that I have to
Okay.
start off.
Well, we'll pick a time and a place, and we can meet somewhere.
I
And do
think it's
this.
really just learning how to
Um,
turn off your mind.
So when you try to meditate, does your mind get real busy and chaotic?
My
and
mind
it's
is
hard
real
to-
busy and chaotic all the time.
me
too.
It does not
So-
shut off.
Yeah, me too, girl.
So when I have someone like that, what I do is I tell them at the beginning of meditation, flood your mind with every thought you can. And when you run out of thoughts, reprocess them, keep going, keep your mind so flooded
Yeah.
that you cannot even think about the fact that you're meditating. And then all of a sudden, the mind will flood, and then it just shuts down. And then it finds a quiet
Interesting.
space,
Okay.
usually out of exhaustion.
Hmm.
And then you start that type of meditation. But you get part of your meditation can be flooding your mind with things
Yeah.
that need to be done or
That
that
makes
you need to
sense.
worry about or that you're trying to keep track of.
Yeah.
That can be part of meditation. You know, it's not a standard or orthodox type meditation,
Mhm.
but that is what I usually do when people say they can't meditate is let's do this the backward way. Let's start in the back of the line.
Interesting.
And it works. It really
Okay.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think that's just the hardest part. People, when you've never meditated before, you're like, okay, so what do I do again? I'm just supposed to sit here and
But yeah, I think the apps or the YouTube. My favorite meditation to follow along with, I'll be honest, is called F That, except for actually spelled out, an honest meditation. And he talks about like breathe in, now breathe out all that bullshit and
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I got that book. I got the book
Love
called
it.
Fuck That. Man, that is such a good and it's like this thin.
Yes.
That it really is so simple and it gets to the point. I fuck that.
I have one of my favorite books is called Where's My Fucking Unicorn?
Yes.
And it talks about how like why self-help books don't work because people like read them too quickly and they go through them and then they try it and they don't see change quickly enough. So it talks about how to actually utilize those things for you. But yeah,
Delayed
But yeah,
gratification.
yes.
That's very true. Even when I first, my shout out to Barb Colner, my old mentor. She actually was the one who changed my life. She was the one. She goes, Amber, you're talented, but I think you could really be better, and sent me The Secret. And
I still haven't read that, and I know
Oh my
it's on
God.
my like.
Dude, I'm telling you, it'll
booklet,
change your
and
life.
I know.
It is. I mean, and she sent me the audio CD. This is back when we had CDs in the car, and she's like, just listen to it on your way to work and on the way back, and the key was, I listened to it so many times, so many, because it's like watching a movie. You see it, but then the second time you see it, you notice little things you didn't catch the first time. So I think repetition is the key when you're checking out books and audio CDs. I think it's why people don't figure it out. They read it fast, they try to apply it, they don't really absorb the information. Well, we're about to have to get out of here. Hey, Oscar, did you have any more questions for Jen before we leave the show?
Hey, Oscar. To her boyfriend. He's joking. Really. He's joking.
He's like, oh, I found out Eric knows black belt. He's protected now. All right, guys. So in conclusion, until more is known about the pandemic, we won't know. But the full story here is that there are things you can do to try to relax your mind and get to a better mental space. Reach out and talk to somebody. If you're feeling depression, suicidal, sadness, reach out to somebody that you trust and get help for that, because I promise you one thing, You're not going through this alone.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, Jen, how do people get in touch with you?
Jennifer at HoustonRelationshipTherapy.com. My Instagram is Jen Reeves Sex Therapist, and Facebook is Jiggy with Jen. Or you can find us at www.HoustonRelationshipTherapy.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. It was another fun Tough Love
Yes,
Tuesday.
ma'am. Thanks for having me.
And if you guys have questions that you want Jen to answer next week, go ahead and write into the show. You can leave your comments on the live Facebook feed we have for Edge Radio TV on there. Leave your comments and we'll address them next week with Jen. And Eric, what about you?
Facebook would be Eric Space Davis, ERIC Space DAVIS, or text me rather than calling me, and then we can talk afterwards at 713-397-7717.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, it is your girl matchmaker Amber Neal. If you want more information about me, go to amberneal.com. More information about Mirror Date is Houston's first private social club for couples only, and we are launching our virtual events this winter. So we're going to be announcing some things coming up with that. But until now, you can go get more information at mirrordate.com, and we will see you back tomorrow at noon right here on the Matchmaker Hotline on Edge Radio TV. See you then.